For far too long, Africa has lived through a history of slavery, theft, foreign rule, and the darkest place in human history that the world brought to her doorstep. 400 years later, Africa's curse have birthed a dynamic, onward, and rising people. Join the Inspire E-Conference 2021 as great minds edify on the positioning of the new rising star. Starting on the 9th to the 14th of August. Africa, get ready.
Welcome to Inspire 2021. We're glad that you could join us from wherever you're joining us from. Yes, this is Inspire. You're not in the wrong place. You're in the right place. And we are confident that we are going to leave this place transformed. We do know that people are joining us from all our social media platforms. If you've joined us from YouTube and Facebook, you're welcome as well. We welcome in a special way. We are glad that we could have you this evening. My name is Emmanuel Osanga. I'm joining in from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'll be directing the week even as we start today. This is highly anticipated week. We believe that this is going to get us to start to transform the continent of Africa. And we are glad that you could join us in this movement. We're really excited to have a big number. In the meantime, if you can go to the chat and just share with us where you're joining us from, just indicate your name and where you're joining us from. Let's know you, introduce yourself on the chat. This is a big platform and we want to get to know you even better. We are very excited to have you this week. Definitely, I can assure you, you will not leave this place the same. You leave this place transformed. We see you in Toronto, Kampala, London, Elizabeth. We can see you. Welcome and thank you for joining us. What we want to really do is that whether you're joining us from London or from the deep from the villages, you're very welcome. And we know that we have quite a number of dynamic people joining us from all over the world. I see Dubai, I see Lira, that's a town in Uganda. You're very welcome. Just keep that going, keep sharing, showing us where you're joining us from. We're happy to have you. I would just want to emphasize that our common objective as Inspire and those who have joined this movement is to transform Africa. If your objective is to transform Africa, if you're tired of what is happening in our continent and your desire is to transform this continent, I want to tell you you're in the right place. And we have a loaded week for you throughout this week. I'm sure you'll attest to that even just today. I just want to walk you through what we have as Inspire, as what we've planned for you this week. I'll start with the very last day, our very last day, which is Saturday, this coming Saturday. In the evening, same time, we'll have a number of speakers. Number one is we'll have somebody talking about, David, if you can share maybe the program briefly so that I can talk through it. We'll have somebody talking to how we can harness the resources that we have. We have a panel of speakers, a number of speakers who will be addressing that on Saturday. And then we have somebody who will be sharing the blueprint. I've started climbing the tree kind of from the top. We'll have somebody who's sharing about the blueprint design of Africa, creating that execution plan. Everybody is saying the time for talk is over. We need action. So we'll have somebody on that day talking to what that blueprint should look like. Then on Friday, we'll have Joy starting us off with the importance of governance in transforming Africa. We'll have our next speaker, Patrick, talking to social enterprises, really focusing on kingdom economics. And then we'll have our brother Moses talking to us about the actual finance planning. You all agree with me that it's been a stressful time, and just that ability to master your personal finance will be shared on Friday. And then Thursday, we have another blockbuster for you. We'll have Dr. Carlton Williams talking to us about the need for us as Africans to collaborate if we really want to see that transformation. And then we'll see some Dr. Eunice addressing specifically the how she's done it and how her enterprises are growing just via collaboration. Then definitely following that, we'll have our panel of doctors talking to us about the investment in health. These are really highly qualified health workers or doctors talking to us. Do not miss that Thursday. Wednesday would have Pastor Laban Jumba talking to us about the timeline for Africa. What time is it for Africa? And Dr. Magara would then talk to what we can start to do. All these are very practical speakers. They'll be sharing with you what can be done to transform the continent of Africa. Tuesday, we'll have on the 10th, we'll have Dr. Professor Anand talking to us about harnessing skills. He'll be talking about the top emerging skills, the top 10 emerging skills. And then we'll have a view of what it is for Africa as a continent, where we are, what is the gap in terms of those emerging skills. On today, which is the first day of the conference, we are going to have quite exciting time from our speakers. I know that our speaker, Douglas, Dr. Douglas Mavra, will be coming in later to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship in Africa, using that to fuel our growth in the continent. Solomon will kick us off with talking to divine order in creativity and design. But before that, we'll have our president, Paul, who will introduce to you just now, talking to us about what this is all about. I'm sure most of you are saying, what is Inspire all about? Paul will come and really address that. So welcome once again, and thank you for joining us. It's exciting time to be in the continent of Africa. I know some have said we've just had talk and not do anything. I can tell you that if you've joined and you're feeling that way, this is completely different. You're going to be challenged. I must tell you and warn in advance, in order to get you ready to really take action. And our theme for this conference is get ready. Our thinking is we're going to get you ready. We set you by the end of this week, you'll be able to execute and you'll be able to start that transformation journey in the continent. So thank you for joining us. I would now like to take the great pleasure to introduce our moderators for the day who have joined us already and ready to go. I'll introduce Rachel, who will take it from myself. I do want to say that before I introduce you, Rachel, that we have on Saturday, and I missed a very important event. We've organized a special event for the children, Inspire Kids. Please do not miss. We'll communicate that even during the week, just to prepare you to make sure that your kids are also part of this. We believe, as you will hear from our president, that we need to start from that age to enable our children to actually be able to be that transformational that we're looking for. I also want to say lastly that after our speakers have gone through, every day we'll have a virtual meeting, meet and greet. It's a pity we can't do this physically, but definitely we've made a plan for you. So feel comfortable. We'll make sure that you're able to introduce yourself. There are lots and lots of people who have joined this call. We have CEOs of big companies. We have people from the diaspora joining us, Africans who are in the diaspora who are eager to transform this continent have joined us. We have very, very high-ranking officials joining us, presidents, ministers, ambassadors across the world that emanate from the continent of Africa joining us. So definitely make sure you do not miss that session, which is a meet and greet. It will be important for you to just connect. We'll share the link on the chat towards the end of the conference to allow you to actually be able to interact. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite our first moderator today, Rachel, who's going to take us through the day. Rachel, you're welcome. Rachel is a media specialist, one of the best news anchors that you can ever think of. Thank you, Rachel. Welcome, and I'll hand over to you right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma, for that warm welcome. Welcome, everyone, to Inspire Conference 2021. It's an exciting time for Africa, like Emma has aptly put it. My name is Rachel Mwine, like I've been introduced, and I am delighted to be one of your hosts tonight. It's a very special day because we kick off the annual Inspire Conference 2021. Now, if this is your first time attending this conference, we want to welcome you in a very special way. In fact, if you could type in the chat, we'd love to recognize you and recognize your presence. Just a fun fact about the Inspire Conference, it's been running for the past 18 plus years. Yes, and we're going to be hearing a bit more about that from Paul, one of the vision bearers. But the main aim of this conference, maybe if you just want to understand what this is about, is to equip today's dynamic and aspiring professionals, that's you and myself, to change the continent of Africa through innovation, inspirational leadership, and upholding excellent work ethic. And over the years, we've had a variety of seasoned speakers, and I honestly believe Africa is not the same. We have not remained the same. And so we recognize you if you're joining for the first time, you are more than welcome. We are excited about the conference this year. It's another opportunity for Africa to position herself for greatness. The theme this year, like you've already heard, is Africa Get Ready. And I believe by the end of the conference, we'll each understand what our contribution is to this vision. Remember, we are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. To all our audiences there, welcome. And if you'd like to share some nuggets as the speakers are sharing, do go ahead and do that using the hashtag Inspire Synergies. Inspire Synergy 2021. That's Inspire Synergy 2021. Without wasting much time, allow me introduce the vision bearer, one of the vision bearers, Paul Wabwire Wafula, to just give us a sense of what we can expect and what the Inspire Conference really is all about. Welcome, Paul. I think you're mute, Paul.
Thank you, Rachel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest of honor, who is, who was, and who is to come, the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, the ruler over the kings of the earth, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Alpha and Omega. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and let us make a joyful noise as we celebrate and acknowledge our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, the champion of the hosts above, and the captain of my destiny. In you alone I make my boast. You reign alone as Lord of all. Our guest speakers for the day, Dr. Douglas Mamvura and Mr. Solomon Ikyoda. Other panel speakers present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's with much delight and a pleasure that I welcome you all to the 18th edition of the Inspire Synergy Conference. And indeed, an even greater pleasure for us to have a panel of speakers that have left their busy schedules to come and speak to us during this year's conference. So who are we? Inspire is an annual thought leadership and motivational conference whose aim is to equip today's dynamic and aspiring professionals to change the continent of Africa through innovation, inspirational leadership, and upholding excellent work ethics. This conference has been running for over 18 years, and we've attracted over 5,000 professionals in the and marketplace leaders cut across the various corporate and business entities, private, public, and institutions across Africa. This conference is the brainchild of a team of dynamic and enlightened professionals with a zeal to uphold excellent work ethics and service delivery in Africa. And the conference is designed for professionals, business people, institutions, and individuals that are interested in transforming and influencing change in the marketplace. The conference has, since its inception, impacted the lives of professionals to bring about change in the global marketplace. This conference has hosted internationally renowned speakers and experts from various disciplines that are passionate about challenging status quo and equipping the marketplace influencers to stand out as excellent leaders in their areas of influence. We passionately believe that the time is now for Africa to arise and take its place in the global marketplace, and for believers to lead in this revolution. And as a commitment to this quest, we hold an annual conference among the other initiatives that brings together all like-minded people, members, partners, and associates from the marketplace. Inspire 2021 is here. Friends, Africa continues to lag behind the rest of the world in almost every sphere of influence, and by any measure of vital statistic that is used to compare the performance of nations against each other. Africa has for far too long been laid back as she places blame for her situation and current predicaments on her past, blaming it on anything and everything that has happened before them, or everyone and anyone that has lived or governed before them. The young blame it on the old blame it on the deceased. Everyone has somebody else to point and blame to for why Africa is in its current state. We continue to place blame on the past leaders, colonialism, slave trade, natural resource exploiters, unfair trade terms, income inequality, and the list could go on and on. And yes, for many of these, we can provide justification. But enough is enough. We have got to stop blaming others. We've got to stop blaming the past. We've got to take responsibility of our fate. For how long shall we live off the begging bowl? We cannot continue to live life through the rear mirror. We've got to start looking forward and use the windscreen in order to move forward and faster. It is time for Africa and Africans to forget about their past as an excuse and begin to move on and move forward. Yes, the past may have had its shortcomings, but these should now be lessons learned. There should be 99 ways of how not to be successful. It is time to take her destiny it's time for us to take our destiny into our own hands. For there is absolutely no one else that is going to come and solve Africa's problems, except Africa and Africans themselves. And that is why this year we are particularly rallying Africans and lovers of Africa from the various parts of the world to come together for this year's Inspire 2021 Marketplace Symposium under the theme Get Ready, so that we can together come to the same realization that yes, it is indeed the time for Africa, and not just a rhetoric or a cliche. It is time for Africans to assemble together and begin to do something about it. And we as believers want to take the lead at orchestrating this meeting and movement. As we believe the words of Prophet Isaiah in chapter 43 and verses 18 and 19 that says, "Do not remember former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness." This prophecy is speaking, we believe it's speaking to us today and challenging us to call out a generation of men and women that are willing to forget the past and stand up to be counted as we begin to turn the page of Africa's history, Africa's story. We believe that God is doing a new thing, and we need to know or perceive as He unveils the sons of God, whose manifestation creation is groaning for. Men and women that God is imparting with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to solve Africa's problems. I believe that there is a crop a new breed of Africans that God is and has been raising, like Moses, who was skilled in all wisdom of knowledge of Egypt, like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the Hebrew boys in Babylon, that did not defile themselves with the wokeness of their day, like the Josephs who've been sold away into slavery by their brothers, like the Davids who are tending sheep as they do janitor duties and other blue-collar jobs in the diaspora, emerging as Solomons who are young and wise to rebuild the broken walls of Africa, like Nehemiahs of our day. We believe that it's time for Africa's restoration. And as God restores Africa, the years that the locust has eaten, in the words of Prophet Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, that says, "And I will restore or replace for you the years that the locust has eaten, the hopping locust, the stripping locust, the crawling locust, by my great army which I sent among you. The years lost to colonialism, to slave trade, to exploitation, and all the inequalities we have endured and have now forgotten. Hence the theme, Africa, get ready, it's your time." We believe that just like the Lord used Joseph to enlighten Pharaoh to see his plan to answer Egypt's crisis, the Lord is once again going to use the manifestation of the sons of God to enlighten Africa to see God's answer for her crisis, to perceive that new thing that springs forth. We believe that it's the Solomon's generation that preceded the Davids who fought for our independence, for liberation, to build the tabernacle of David in Africa. As the mountain of the Lord's house gets established on top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow to it, according to Prophet Micah. The challenge in Inspire 2021 will bring forth is the need for urgency for Africa's readiness, to give pointers to participants for their involvement. Let Africa do this, is the desire the speakers are going to answer this week. We believe that we are standing at the threshold of Africa's greatest marketplace revolution. And we believe that Africans in the diaspora, like Daniel, Joseph, Nehemiah, who are all in the diaspora, are going to play a pivotal role in making this happen. As Africans come together and begin to collaborate more and invest more into the development of Africa and Africans, the demographics are clearly in our favor, as an indication that Africa is the youngest continent in the world today, with a mean age of 19 years old. And so we need the youth to also come on board and have a seat on the table. And so this year, professionals from various industries and sectors of Uganda are gathering together with professionals and youth from the rest of Africa, and together with the Africans in the diaspora, and are having a meeting of minds to discuss the challenges and opportunities that are going to spiral Africa into the growth engine. We believe that this forum, the Inspire Synergy, is going to be the collaboration of, we believe that this forum, the Inspire Synergy Conference, in collaboration with other like-minded partners, is going to become an enabler that will bring together those that have ideas but no investment capital or idle assets, with those that have idle assets and no ideas. The ones that have no investment capital but ideas are generally the youth, and then those that have idle assets and no ideas or investment capital, these are usually the professionals. And those that have the investment capital but don't have ideas or idle assets, that's the diaspora. By providing a platform for them to collaborate and invest the capital into the ideas to utilize the idle assets, and by so doing, begin to create more opportunities that will ultimately result in a snowball effect on the economies of the African countries. As an example, banks and financial institutions can begin to facilitate the transfer and allocation of diaspora investment funds that come into the construction and the building of cities and modern villages in the countryside of Africa. And those in tourism and aviation can arrange excursions and holiday packages for the diaspora to come home more often. and because they would like to holiday from the high-rise cities, and many of the other sectors can seize opportunities within Africa. I've even thought about a diaspora campaign that I'm calling Save to Invest in Africa. And I imagined if we considered the 2 million Ugandans that we have in the diaspora, according to the UNDP statistics of 2014, assuming we got just half of them, 1 million Ugandans in the diaspora, saving $1 per month. That means in 1 month, we would have raised $1 million for investment. Even if we got half of them, 500,000, that means they just need to save $2 per month to raise $1 million each. If they became a quarter, just to 50,000, we just need $4. Friends, it's $10 to get for 100,000. It's very interesting. With $500, we just need 20,000. If we can come together and save a little together, it will make us take much faster steps. I believe this is just the beginning of Africa's renaissance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Inspire 2021. Africa, get ready.